Top 10 matchup for Ohio State at Notre Dame on Saturday. Huge game of college football on Saturday, and I think this is the best game in the country. Everything that I'm seeing out there, the metrics, it's going to be potentially a great game. Nathan Baird from cleveland.com along with Stephen Means and Andrew Gillis, and we're talking about Kyle McCord, Ohio State's brand spanking new full-time starting quarterback. He's a third-year veteran. We should stop talking about him like he just got here. But he did just take over the job full-time last week, did pretty well against Western Kentucky. This is a different challenge, though. Things ramp up a lot in stakes. They ramp up a lot in opponent. Andrew, what is maybe the biggest obstacle that you see that Kyle McCord has to get past this week to come out of Notre Dame Stadium with a win?
Managing the game. I think a lot of people hear the term game manager, and they immediately get this thought in their head of, oh, that quarterback's not any good. Oh, that quarterback can't do. Well, managing the game in and of itself is a skill. Like knowing what kind of game that you are in, knowing what kind of game that you are playing, that is a skill that experienced quarterbacks have. Like that is a skill that Sam Hartman has, because Sam Hartman has seen a lot of different games in his, 47 years, 48 years?
Something like that.
Of college football. So, in terms of, managing the game, I think it's managing the expectations of what Notre Dame Stadium is going to be like, because that I understand there's going to be a lot of Ohio State fans there, but that is still going to be a loud atmosphere. You're going to play the best defense that you've played up to this point. You're going to play in a game where you're probably going to play the best offense that you've played up to this point. There's just a lot of things that are going into this game, and Kyle McCord has to handle all of this. There's going to be a lot on his shoulders, not in the way of a game plan, but there's going to be a lot on his shoulders of, you have to take a snap, and if Notre Dame goes down the field and takes a 7-0 lead early or something like that, how do you respond to that? There are different things that I don't think are on the field. There are different things where, you can make a high and tight, 3rd and 10 out route. You can do those things. You can make great throws, but I think this week is more than that. This week is, how does he handle things from a leader perspective? How does he handle things from, not making an untimely throw? If it's 3rd and 8, sometimes you just got to eat it and take a sack. Those type of things are what I'm looking for from Kyle McCord this week, just because of this atmosphere. Everybody kind of expect the Vegas line is tight. Everybody kind of expects this game to be a pretty tight game. And these are the games where you can't make mistakes, and that's what an experienced quarterback does. So he's got to take some leaps this week.
Well, I covered a lot of bases. Stephen, what do you think is the biggest obstacle for Kyle McCord?
I'm trying to think of what I can hit next. So, Nathan, we've been talking about this all week, this idea of not putting too much on the quarterback's plate. The reference has been C.J. Stroud, the Oregon game, throwing the 54 passes, where it felt like he had to do so much that maybe he wasn't ready to do at that point. Ryan Day's even referenced it. But then when I brought it up on Tuesday, of course, he downplayed it, because why wouldn't he downplay that in the week? They have to actually do some of this stuff. So I'm not shocked at the answer he gave at all. But I think Kyle McCord is going to be a dude if the game requires him to be a dude. And that doesn't mean doing it for 60 minutes. It might be one drive. It might be third quarter, you're up 3 or you're down 3, and you need to go do something that's dude-ish. Something that flashes, that's the Ohio State starting quarterback. Because we saw it with Justin Fields, we saw it with Dwayne Haskins, and we saw it with C.J. Stroud. This is the type of game, the type of environment where you need to see that from Kyle McCord. I don't think it needs to be all on him the way it was on CJ. Like, he doesn't need to throw 50-plus passes, though Ryan Day says if that's how you need to win the game, then that's how you win the game. But I do think that the moment's going to come, just like it came for CJ, and he just wasn't ready for it. Kyle McCord's a little older, as you mentioned. He's in third year. He started multiple games at this point. The runway has been a little smoother. So I just want to see it at some point. When that moment shows up, does Kyle McCord show us that he can reach the standard that has been set at Ohio State for the quarterbacks? And that's Heisman Trophy level, first-round draft pick. Can he flash it?
Yeah, I think it's a good point. If that Oregon game in 2021 had been played in Week 8, it comes out, it maybe plays out very differently, even though Ohio State probably still has the same defensive issues to some extent. C.J. Stroud is maybe a little bit more ready when his back is against the wall and everything's on his back. Or his shoulders. Maybe he's ready to stand up and do it. And I don't think Ohio State wants to put Kyle McCord in that situation no matter what the week is and find out. And I think that applies to any quarterback. But it is worth that, is Kyle McCord ready for that if it comes up? My thing is, I think head to toe, pound for pound, Kyle McCord is a more talented football player / quarterback at the end of the day than Sam Hartman is. Just talents. The huge advantage that Sam Hartman has, though, what I perceive to me maybe be a huge advantage is this is not his first rodeo. Like he was doing this. He was starting games, as I said before, when Kyle McCord was a sophomore in high school. That's insane. He is the veteranist. He has the same black beard that Ryan Day has all this time, or despite their many years difference, which isn't as many years as it should be, because Sam Hartman's like 24. But my point here is that it's not so much about what's going to happen on Saturday. I think Saturday, once the ball's kicked, things kind of start to take care of themselves a little bit. Kyle McCord, as you said, he's going to have to make good reads. He's going to have to make good decisions. He's going to have to read what's out there. But from the time their games ended on Saturday to Saturday afternoon, or maybe Friday morning, whatever, is I think where the big advantage Sam Hartman might have in a week like this, because there's just a lot of distractions. There's a lot of other things going on. There's a lot of jerks like us who are trying to talk to you, the TV people. It just gets a lot more ramped up for a national showcase week like this. There's a lot of stuff buzzing around your head. And Sam Hartman, although he's not been incredibly successful in games like that when he was at a kind of mediocre team at Wake Forest, he's been through this process. He knows how to maybe handle a week like this and get to Saturday in the best way. So I'm not saying Kyle McCord can't do that, but Sam Hartman's just a little bit more practiced at it. So how does Kyle McCord handle just the Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday things and get to Saturday in the best shape to go out and win a game? And at the end of the day, though, it's also not on his shoulders fully. I agree with Steven. Like there's got to be – Ohio State's got to put him in the position to win. We're talking a lot more about this on Buckeye Talk. And get the text, 614-350-3315, news, analysis, everything else, leading into, again, probably the biggest game of the week in college football on Saturday.